Welcome to Title Talk with your host, Drew Wishover, entrepreneur, a published author, and owner of Inspired Title Group, along with his co-host and CEO, Amy Maley. Each week, they offer you some laughs, industry terminology, tips and strategies, along with the occasional real estate professional to help educate you as it pertains to buying, selling, or just plain old homeownership. Thanks for spending time with them. Now, let's jump into today's episode of Title Talk.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, my God. Please, sit down. Please, take a seat. Thank you guys for joining us. Holy cow, what a warm welcome. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is really great to be here. As you see, I have a vacant seat. That's because it's just me today. My name's Drew with Inspired Title, and you are listening to Title Talk from the title company that cares. Again, my name is Drew, and I am going to be your host. We're going to do a lot of good things here today. We're going to talk about some headlines. We got some great headlines. We've got some advice from Drew. I got a special guest, so stick around for that. We got somebody who will absolutely talk to you guys about what's going on in the world of mental health, maybe talk about being a first-time home buyer. So we're certainly excited to talk about that as well. Some inspirational messages from yours truly, and we're going to get this thing kicked off with some headlines. Brittany's still doing a great producing of this show. Look at this set. This thing is incredible. I've got applause now. I don't even know what to do. It's so fun. It's just so fun. So now I want to welcome a person who is very near and dear to me, and somebody I'm very, very proud of. She has gone on to get her degree in psychology. She has gone on to get her master's in psychology. I don't know if she's going to go on beyond that to get a doctorate. God only knows, but you know what? The sky is the limit. The world is her oyster. She is just doing a great job out there. She bought her first home, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So without further ado, let me welcome Courtney Wishover to the show. Welcome, Courtney. Oh, look at this. Absolutely. What's the first? These COVID times, we don't know if we can, hug or, our distances and all that. So thank you so very much for coming out here today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
It's been a while since I've been here. I was here. Well, I was on the show in November.
It was around the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a Christmas set and things.
Yeah.
So,
well, I have to say, you guys have updated a lot. You guys have grown so much in this show. Because I remember when I was on the show, this room was just a random
right, it was. That is true.
And then on top of that, I remember we did the whole show, and then at the end found out that Amy and I sounded like dudes the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so glad I'm introduced on
I
this
do
show.
remember
I
that.
sound like a man.
Yeah, I remember that. The voices for some reason all jacked up. Yeah, that's fun. That's definitely fun. Yeah, well, Brittany's done a real great job with, bringing her into this and in the production piece of this, and I'm just so thankful and proud. And I mean, there you are on the screen. I just like, it's tough as dad looking at that, and I mean, proud is not, I can't say enough about how absolutely proud I am of you and all your accomplishments, and doing you as a little girl going, I know what I want to do when I grow up at 7 or 8 years old, and I'm going, oh yeah, whatever. What? No, you don't. And you literally followed that dream through to fruition to here you are today. So, congratulations on that. Congratulations on passing your test and becoming a licensed, what is it now?
Licensed professional counselor.
LCP.
LPC.
Licensed professional counselor.
And then I will grow to be an LCPC, so licensed clinical professional
counselor.
Goodness.
My goodness. That's outstanding. So just a couple things. Tell us about, I know that, there's so many things I want to talk about. I'm like so excited here. I know you're buying a house, and being a millennial, buying a house. We've talked about that on a couple of our shows. Why don't you talk a little bit about that experience for you and the ups, the downs, the emotional roller coaster. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I can make a blanket statement of this has been one of the most anxiety provoking experiences ever. And that says a lot just because of the anxiety I normally have. However, the anxiety, though, is so different because it's been so exciting.
Yes.
Like, it has been so much fun. And I think it was more than I was expecting it to be, even though, like, being a part of the title world here and knowing so much, it's still... I don't think there's enough information that people can give you to feel completely prepared for this situation. I think I had a leg up, though, working here and tuning into Title Talk. Like, because the weeks that I'm not working here, I've been able to listen to you guys and the trends, or even, like, when Christina and Rich came on. Like, I really resonated with the idea when they were talking about buyer's fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So... my boyfriend and I started looking for a home, I think maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
It was a month ago.
Yeah, it really went fast for me, too.
Yeah, it went really fast. Because then I think it was 2 weeks in, we made our first offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were told, you need to do highest and best.
Right.
After that, we were like, can we push the mic a little bit closer to Courtney?
Yeah.
We were like, what the heck do we do with a highest and best? What does that mean? I thought that I was giving you that already.
Yeah.
So then it's the pressure of thinking, like, how far are you really willing to go for this home?
Sure.
And that was very nerve-wracking. And then we were turned down on that one.
Shocking.
Yeah. And I know that you've said it a million times over of don't fall in love with the real estate. And you looked at me because I was devastated and you were like, you fell in love with the real estate. So that was okay, though, because it really kind of set the foundation for what our expectations and hopes were for the next home we were actually going to buy. So then it was, so that Sunday we got denied. That Wednesday we saw a home and had to put in an offer that night, and then found out by that Saturday that we got it.
That's
so
great.
It was awesome. It's just, again, it went so fast. Yeah. So and are expecting, all right, well, I'm going to have to get together my escrow money. I know that I have to get money for closing, the down payment, like all of these things. And that number can be very daunting, I think, especially when you hear about it from different ends of, don't forget, you're going to have to pay for the appraisal. Right. You're going to have to pay for assessments or all different things. And those are the other areas that it was like, I didn't realize I was going to have to pay for that. Not that it doesn't make sense, because it does. It's just, I thought I just bring the money to closing that I bring to closing, and that's about it. So I guess if I would have been talking to somebody else about this, I would let them know, like, make sure that you know and feel confident that you are ready financially. Like, obviously on a mental level as well, but financially, just because you don't know, especially in this market, they're asking for your highest and best. You have to really know for yourself, what is that highest and best for me? And if that's what I get accepted at, am I also able to pay for that and all of those other things?
and that's literally why we do the show. That's why we continue to, bring these things up, because at the point in time when the folks are looking to buy a house, whether they're millennials or whether they're seasoned veterans at doing this, there are steps. There are things that you don't think about. There are things that you need to do. There are necessities in planning and all that. So we try to cover those when we do this show weekly. And I think that you just lived through that experience this last month, right? And for those of you that don't know, I mean, Courtney has worked with us for a couple of years now, while she was going to school and while she was, getting her licensing and things. So she did have a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of a familiarity with some of the terms and some of the processes, but yet she still is here to tell you that even being in it, there are still things that you didn't know or didn't expect, right?
I think it was helpful for me, and I was talking to you about this the other day, of when I got our contract or seeing riders and different things, like, I understood that language so much more, so I felt really comfortable in what I was reading and knowing what it all really meant to us and how it might impact us and what we were actually agreeing to.
So where are you in the process right now? How far along are you? How much time is left?
So right now our tentative close date is September 13th. And we just had our loan actually approved.
Okay.
So now we just had our appraisal ordered, and
It's happening.
I forgot whatever I was just talking to you about before.
You got to get the HOA.
Yes, all the
Homeowners
information.
Association.
Yes, because we're buying a townhouse.
Right.
So we have those extra kind of little hoops too, and that was something
So
that
very
I didn't,
exciting.
that I didn't.
So
see
very
about.
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm
Almost there.
again one more piece of being proud, and this is a big step, and it's a step that Americans want to take is home ownership, and we are here to help you. We are here in the process to work alongside you guys, and not just because she's my daughter. The reality is this is how we work. We work very closely with everybody, and getting as involved as we do. It's just part of the people that we are. So, we're here to help you guys if there's something we can do. If you don't mind, maybe talk a few minutes about the mental health place and a little bit about the pandemic and how that's impacting people and what you're seeing maybe even in your business and your career.
Yeah. So in my work, I'm primarily working with children, adolescents, and young adults.
Okay.
So really a lot of people going through a lot of transitions, which I can say that everybody is right now in so many ways. And at any age in your life, you're going to go through transitions. Yeah. However, with kids and young adults, like making a transition even just back to school, which is a yearly thing, it has become such a big deal. It's not just about, hey, am I going to be able to get all the color folders I want? And am I going to be able to get that same first day outfit that I was looking forward to? It's, hey, do I have enough masks? Hey, am I going to be prepared for the idea that maybe I have to go hybrid again and being in and out? Or how is it that now I'm going to a new school? How am I going to make friends? Right. And after a year being really tied down to home, it has had such a negative impact on the socialization piece of things. I would say, and just a small example, there's an individual that I've worked with who prior to the pandemic was a relatively social person, and then all of 2020 was not in school at all, and now is experiencing selective mutism, meaning they won't speak at all outside of to maybe a handful of people.
Just due to the being homebound for the year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just not being so far away from the idea of how to socialize with people and not knowing now, how do I start that conversation? Is it safe for me to approach you to try to talk to you? Or do I have to keep my distance?
Wow.
And people have honestly just had so much time to sit with their own thoughts, which in a reflective way can be very positive and help you grow. In a rumination way, then we just see people going through spirals of, oh my gosh, I haven't had a social interaction. How are people going to perceive me? Wait, I haven't had a mask to hide behind anymore. So what are people going to think of my appearance?
Right.
How do I protect myself in this other kind of way?
Right. That's very well said. What is there anything, any tip or any thought that you can give to maybe the parents out there that are kind of wrestling back and forth between masking, no masking, how they feel about it and all of that?
Yeah, so obviously always follow the CDC guidelines and things like that. However, something that I recently talked with somebody about was the importance of when it is safe to do so and when you actually feel comfortable to do so, take off the mask in social situations. Remain and encourage your kids to do so you can maintain the idea that I am confident in my own skin. I don't have to hide behind this mask. Right. This is not a way to just hide my face or to avoid those social conversations or interactions at all. Just being a big encourager of, hey, we know that we have to be safe and you can still do that in these many ways. And creating more opportunities as a family to spend time together to make sure that conversation still flows.
Right.
And instead of allowing people to isolate and get so stuck behind the screens or just to themselves, keeping that social piece alive is going to be so huge.
And again, that's well said too, and that really coincides with some of the things that I was talking about in the advice pieces, because it allows an excuse for not doing something, right? And where a lot of people were using COVID as an excuse to not go to work or to this event or family function, because they played the COVID excuse, and then you would find them out in the store the next day. So it was just convenient, right? But it now becomes another crutch to say, I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to take the mask down because of, like you said, the fear of how I look. Has your business been full? Has there been a lot more? It
is overflowing, and it's so great as a professional to hear so many people calling in, because I'm like, this is awesome, because people are recognizing that, hey, it's okay that I can't do this by myself anymore, and noticing their own limits.
Right.
And something that I say, and I think I said it last time I was here, but coming to counseling is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of your strength. For you to be able to have that insight and say, hey, I need help, and that's okay. That is so strong, because the sickest of people won't be able to have that insight and awareness.
Simone Biles.
So, right? To be able to just step out and say, despite all of your expectations, responsibilities, and things, I'm putting my foot down and saying, no, I have to make myself that priority. That is so strong, and I truly admire her for that.
Again, so many people looked at that with a negative eye, and this is an individual who is trained at the highest level, who has gone through so very much in a training regimen, and is so probably mentally very, very strong. Yeah. So strong that she recognized that she couldn't perform at her highest level.
And that, I think, speaks to how you brought up in your advice part of boundaries.
Right.
And that's the kind of line between using things as an excuse versus truly setting a healthy boundary for yourself. Right. And it's so very difficult, because there is sometimes that expectation of, oh, I set this boundary, but really you're making an excuse. Or it's, I'm setting this boundary, and now people aren't going to like it because I'm not used to setting that boundary. So for somebody like Simone, who is like, yes, I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, she finally puts her foot down and says, nope, I'm calling it where it's at. And people lose their minds, because it's, no, you're not doing what I wanted you to do or what I expected you to do. And for herself, it's, I had to set that boundary to take care of myself if I want to continue to be the performer that you are looking for and look up to.
Such a noble thing, and such a big person to do it. And it's the silent ones you worry about, right? Yeah. It's the ones that just continue to walk around and go, no, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. Yeah. Those are the ones that are really, dying inside, because they don't feel they have an outlet. They don't feel they have a channel. Make sure you plug your place of business and where you work, because I have one more question for you as well.
Okay. So I work at Associates in Professional Counseling, as you see over there. Over there. But then up, if you look all the way up top, there's my office number with my extension, my email, and our website. That way. But no, my whole bio is on there and everything. I work out of the Palos Heights office, Frankfort, Plainfield, and Naperville.
Oh, just those?
Yeah, just four of the 6 of the places. Okay, but it's nice too, because I do in person, and I am still providing telehealth as well. So there's still that access. Right now, I personally am doing self-pay, or soon as the actual license comes in the mail, I can take Blue Cross Blue Shield PPM. So that's exciting.
Nice. That's great.
So give me a call. I'm not just limited to children, adolescents, and young adults. I work with all spans, but that's kind of my powerhouse area.
And really, to Courtney's point of saying that, the first step is the awareness. The first step is recognizing that you can't do this yourself. You need somebody else, something else in here to really, step in and help out, and that's where they excel. And you guys have several counselors within the practice.
Oh, we have, I think it's like 18 of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a fit for you. If one of their strengths is not, if Courtney is not one of your strengths, there's other people within the practice that can absolutely get you to they'll get you to the right person and get the help.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, the last question and the last thing that I wanted to ask you is it's a term that people use that means very different things to a lot of us. Okay. We talked about this a little bit off air, and Carol and I talked about this last night a little bit too, and it's something that's being thrown around a lot. Is the word self-care?
Yeah.
As a clinician, that word means so many different things, right? So how would you kind of summarize that to what that might mean to the general population?
Ooh, well.
Or
I was going to say, I would
piece.
say, because there are so many misconceptions of self-care.
Right.
So you see people saying, oh, I'm going to have 2 bottles of wine tonight, and that's my self-care.
Brittany,
Brittany,
that's Brittany.
But it's,
Yeah.
yes, I very much,
Admission of guilt.
I very much enjoy a glass of wine. However, am I having that much wine because I'm trying to shut my brain off and avoid and deny everything that came up that day? Or is it, I genuinely enjoy a glass of wine and I would like to treat myself after a hard day of work, right? So there's a difference of that. And self-care is ultimately finding the positive and healthy opportunities and skills, hobbies, people in your life that you can surround yourself with and fill your day with to fill your love cup up, like you had said. Reduce your own battery and set yourself up for another day of success. So sometimes it looks very different. Sometimes if I'll use you as an example.
Oh, good.
So somebody like you, though, who you're running around always, you are very, very busy and you have a lot of different things on your plate all the time. Sure. Something healthy for you would be taking, maybe even it was just an hour of your day to do nothing, to shut your phone off. I know, to shut your phone off.
That makes me tremble.
Turn off and just kind of disconnect from the world for a little bit, to sit with yourself, to for a second not have to be the person that everybody's calling upon and looking to. Instead, turning inward and taking an opportunity to check in with yourself. That would be healthy. Or even and I know you do that through golfing and stuff like that, right? So that would be in running. So those are all positive, healthy things. It's when we find ourselves saying, I'm taking a self-care day, but that really means I'm not moving from my bed for the next 18 hours. And that means I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not doing anything that actually makes me feel good. Because sitting in bed for that little bit, it feels good for the first probably 4 episodes of whatever you're watching.
Right.
And then after that, you're like, okay, literally, what am I doing?
Right.
And then sometimes that can negatively impact us in the long run but I wasn't productive, or I don't feel like I utilized this day in the way that I was hoping or intending to.
So self-care has a lot of different meanings.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's different for everybody.
It has to be really cautiously played. Because, like you said, and I know in your business you see this all the time. I see this in just some of the peer group and some of my colleagues. One of their ways of self-care is they'll bury themselves in work to eliminate the problem. They'll using the wine, or they go to the obsession of what that is, but that's not really, like you said, self-care. I think that's more harmful. Yeah. Right? Yeah. In the long term, that practiced over a long period of time would be more harmful.
Yeah. And even taking a day of okay, for example, how I said for you to shut off all your phones and all the things, right? That would be positive unless you found yourself going down a spiral of okay, no, now this is a time to take care of yourself and re-engage your brain and your cognitive process into something else.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be your work or all those things, but it's something else that you enjoy because if you're going down a spiral, you're, again, going to feel worse later down the road.
Well, I mean, as an example, one of my self-care pieces was we would do a vacation to Jamaica or something like that in January, February, and that's where I would refill my bucket.
Yeah.
However, with the pandemic, that hasn't been able to happen. So the anxiety level has increased now, and it is at a higher level, and we're hoping to do that this year, this upcoming year. But with everything changing like it is, it's unknown. But yeah, I recognize what my limitations are.
Yeah.
I need to have that bucket refilled. So you go sit on a beach for a period of time and you just become, a vegetable for a little while. However, that doesn't mean that I'm still working from those places, but it doesn't suck to work from Jamaica. You're still, and you're not doing it for, 10 hours a day. You're doing it for an hour here and there. So,
and I think, as you just said, you would make it a once a year kind of thing. Finding how do I bring self-care into a day-to-day thing? Because if you wait until that one time a year, you are going to be ready to explode.
True.
So self-care can be setting those boundaries with people in a conversation, because mentally it's going to be draining for me if I say yes to that thing or have that conversation. So the little self-care things on a day-to-day basis, thinking about for 2 minutes, what are you grateful for? That's what a couple of my other counselor friends and I would do. We would start the day of like, all right, 3 things that we're grateful for, because we know today's going to suck, but what are we doing to, for a second, take care of ourselves and just like jumpstart the whole day.
Such a good tip. And there's so much more there. There's so much more to talk to you about. And I appreciate you just kind of coming on and sharing some time here today, filling in for Amy being away today. So it was great to have you. I thank you so very much for all you do and all you've done. And again, proud is not the word. Why don't we wrap this up and get us out of here? You got a quote for the day?
I do.
You do? All right.
I have to take a picture of it though.
I put her on the spot and I said, hey, give us a quote for the day, Court.
So, we are in the new age where change is the only constant. I encourage you to embrace it, to be inspired to push the boundaries, innovate, and find your own unique ways to set the norms.
Coming from a clinical
Wait,
counselor.
do you want to hear who that's from, though?
Okay, please.
Tommy Hilfiger.
I mean, you could have said Mickey Mouse and it would have been better.
I don't think I realized it when I grabbed the quote, but looking, I was like, oh, wow, that's...
Wow. All
Didn't
right.
even know.
All right, well, mine is very Field of Dreamsy, because this is an emotional day for me. This is exciting. I can't tell you my love for the game of baseball and how exciting this opportunity is so exciting. So the one constant through all the years has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt, and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's a part of our past. It reminds us of all that was once good and could be good again. Baseball. I love it. I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Title Talk. We are Inspired Title, located in Palos Heights, Illinois, as well as St. John, Indiana. We're the title company that cares, for the title company of the ages. Thank you, Courtney, for joining in and being part of this here today.
Thank you for
Brittany,
having me back.
Super job again on this set and all
You're
that
blowing
you're doing.
me away every week. This is just getting better
yeah,
and better.
You are really, I don't know what the ceiling is, but man, you're killing it, kid. So keep it up. We are going to be at a golf outing next week, so stick around for what that looks like. Otherwise, we'll be back here in the studio in a couple weeks. Until then, take care, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Well, there you have it. That is it for this week's edition of Title Talk. Be sure to head over to our Inspired YouTube and subscribe and like. And make sure you follow the team on Instagram and Facebook. Join us again next time for more tips and knowledge from the industry pros. Thanks again for listening.